What's going on, guys? Fun with Knives back again, and I have one very cool fixed blade to show you guys today, and it's one that you guys might have forgot about. I did an unboxing of this knife a little while back, and I've been trying to get a lot of use on it so I can tell you all about it. The knife that you're looking at is the Boker Plus Mako, designed by Danny Paris. It's a knife that I kind of stumbled upon in my search for a medium-sized fixed blade to take with me on my various adventures and day hikes that wasn't too long or too tactical. I used a lot of food prep out, in the woods, making picnics and that kind of stuff, light wood processing, and I needed a knife that looked the part and also had some cool carry options, which we'll talk about all that. But the Boker Plus Mako seemed to fit the bill. And I can tell you guys right now, this is one sweet blade and one that I think is very overlooked because there's hardly anything on this knife. On YouTube, on the internet, it's just not one of those popular designs, and I definitely think it should be. There's definitely some room for improvement here if I don't bump the camera too many times. There's some things I would change about it, but as it sits, it's one very cool knife. So let's get the specs out of the way. We got a 4-inch handle here, a 4-inch blade, making your overall length, of course, 8 inches. Your blade thickness here is 0.17 inches, so a very stocky blade. Then your handle thickness is, I'm guessing, around 0.6. There's no stats for that on Blade HQ, but it's definitely more than half an inch, but it's not abnormally large. Your weight on this guy, 7.31 ounces. There's a lot of steel here, that thick blade stock, so it does weigh a little bit, but I'm not too bothered by the weight because I definitely think this is one capable blade. So going on to that blade, we just have a classic draw point here, something I like very much. Very high utility, got a mid flat grind here. Very cool finish on the blade, kind of that dark stone wash, acid stone wash, smoke wash, whatever you want to call it. I love it. It's got that acid finish and it's stone washed on top. Boker Plus written on the flat there, and then Danny Paris's logo there, which is pretty freaking cool if I do say so myself. Blade steel on this model, 440C, and in fact, this is one of my very first experiences with that steel. I know it's been around for a long time, and a lot of people aren't too fond of it, so I definitely wanted to try it out. And I'm not too big of a steel snob, I don't want to be carrying around 420J in my pocket, but 440C, at least in this Boker Plus model, has performed very well. I mean, it's not up to par with some of the higher end stainless steels like 154 CM, and it's definitely not into powdered, steel metallurgy, but as it sits, I like it a lot. It seems very tough. It holds an edge for a good amount of time, and I definitely don't have to worry about any corrosion issues. So all in all, a big bellied drop point here. You got a sweeping belly all the way up. You can see cool swedge where that light is hitting. I love this blade, very attractive. Kind of looks like a kitchen knife in a way, and that's kind of what I use it as, as an outdoor kitchen knife. So you can see here, there's still a little bit of wear on the finish, some scratches here and there, but overall it's holding up very well. I've taken this thing on quite a few adventures. Here's a jimping on the back. So the one problem I do have with the blade is just a little bit too thick. I don't think this is any sort of hard use kind of knife, even though it could perform those tasks, but it's not big enough to do any batoning or chopping. I don't think it has the right weight or balance or anything for some tactical use. I just think this is a very functional and utility-based fixed blade that has just a little bit too much blade thickness. I would like to see them cut that 0.17 inch blade stock down to, 0.13, 0.14, make this a little bit better of a slicer, but I definitely like it how it is. Came very sharp out of the box. And I think the coolest thing about this knife is the handle. You can see here we have some very cool 3D Machine G10. It's got a little bit of texture to it. Not a lot, it's not very grippy, but the contouring is done exceptionally well. And the fit and finish on this thing is just fantastic. It's almost a seamless construction. You can hardly see the gaps in between the materials here, which is just phenomenal. So you do have a orange liner here. I think on Blade HQ and a lot of other websites that's listed as red, but it's definitely an orange coloration there. Ergonomics on this thing are phenomenal, guys. They are amazing. In fact, as soon as I got this knife, it immediately reminded me of one of the most ergonomic knives I think out on the market, and that is the Spyderco Manix 2 Lightweight. I mean, if you can see here, they have a little bit of similar design in the handle. You take a little bit away from here, make this come down to a point, and you got kind of the same shape. And I think this Boker Plus Mako is probably the most ergonomic fixed blade I've ever held. You couple that with that Contour G10, all those different scallops and surfaces, and it's not too chamfered off here, but there's definitely not any sharp edges you need to worry about. The orange liners look great. This is, of course, full tank construction all the way through. Got a serial number, something there. This is perplexed me a little bit there. You got some jimping, which I'm sure is added for extra grip here with your ring finger, but it's not doing anything for me. It's not something you can really activate when you're using the knife. The jimping on top, however, is perfectly placed. It's not the best jimping in the world. I like the design of it, how it's got this fuller running through it, and then just a couple of cutouts here. It works. It's not extremely grippy, but I like that there's no thumb ramp here. Just a very simple and clean design. So this knife is going to run you around $75. At least that's what Blade HQ is selling it for. I wouldn't spend any more than that. And the reason I say that is because the sheath. In fact, the sheath is very good, but it's that clip. Boker Plus has been using this modular clip quite a bit, and it sucks. Mainly because it is super flimsy. I mean, I could break this right now if I wanted to. It's just made out of a very poorly made plastic. It's just not well put together, and definitely doesn't match the quality and fit and finish that's on the knife. The sheath itself is made out of Kydex with a great fit. You see it snap in there. There's absolutely no rattle. I would never have to worry about this knife falling out. I've ran it vertical many times on a backpack strap. I've EDC'd it around town, and it works perfectly. You got 3 grommet holes here. 2 of them are going to be used for this belt clip. Something interesting to note is that a normal Blade Tech lock should fit this. I mean, of course, check the size and everything, but I have thrown a different clip on there, and it worked very well. I just threw this stock clip back on it for the review. Now, the stock clip, you can adjust this little spacer here for a bigger or smaller belt, and it works. It's functional, but it's not confidence inspiring. You know, this just isn't the way to go. So I hope Boker Plus improves that to match the quality of the knife. You can see here you got a nice thumb ramp molded into that Kydex here. Very easy to pull out, even though the retention is very strong. And of course, that is because I have these screws tightened down quite a bit. If I loosen that up, it comes down to a pretty reasonable tightness in that sheath. So all in all, guys, I love the Boker Plus Mako. I know it's not everybody's cup of tea. Everybody doesn't like the black stonewash as much as I do. Maybe this knife doesn't have really a role for you, but to me, especially with this very easily disassembled handle here, just got 3 screws on either side that are very deeply recessed. You don't have to worry about, you know, those at all. I love the look of this knife. I think it's elegant, and I definitely have a use for it in my systems. This thing could definitely be used as an EDC blade. I'm sure you could flip this clip and run it horizontally if you wanted. To me, it's a day hike blade. It's not a survival blade by any stretch of the imagination. It's not a tactical blade. It's just an EDC / day hike blade, and it performs very well at that. So if you guys are interested in this at all, I will provide a link in the comments, or the description box rather. And yeah, thanks for stopping by as always, and remember, have fun with your knives.